Hello and welcome to this new video tutorial about the Avonni Dynamic Component, and today I'm going to dig into one example I built on this account record page. Is this one. So I built a dynamic component to display what's coming up next for that specific record information. And what I did, which I find very interesting, it's I put a combo box, and when I select any item from the combo box, it will dynamically refresh the query from the matrix based on the number of days. So today I'm going to show you how to build this kind of component, and also showing you the logic behind this, especially with the reactive query based on text value coming from a combo box. And that's what I'm going to show you today. Let's dive in. So first, we are going to open the Avonni component application from the app launcher. And let's create our new component. Name it account coming up next. Here, it's really important to define the target page object because this component will live on an account page. So the dynamic components needs to be aware of the context where it operates, because we will use the $sign component attribute to fill out some information in our dynamic component. So let's just select the account page object. So now we can start building our component. First, I will start by dragging the card component, and from there, what's coming up next. We can add an icon if we want. Let's take the feed one, and we can fine-tune the style of the card. So I will just play a little bit with the font size, the weight of the text. You can play with color, border, bottom size, basic stuff. Okay. Next, we can drag the combo box element. So here I can drag the combo box directly inside the card on the top right action. And now I can configure the combo box. So manual value, that will be next 7 days. So the combo box value, let's set to manual. Let's define the label next 7 days. And here that's really important, because instead of having the next 7 days automatically pre-filled as a value, I will remove this and just typing 7. Why? Because this is the value we will use on the reactive query, and that's what I will show you in a few minutes. Then we can do the same for next 30 days. Let's replace the value with 30. Now for the label value, let's say, so that's the default value when the component is showing up for the first time. We can set to 7. So that will be the default selected value. And then we can play with the variant like label hidden. Okay. At any time, feel free to click on the preview button to see how this looks like. Next, now we can drag the column component, because we want to create a 2-column layout, and inside each column I will drag the matrix component, one metric on one column, to display what's coming up next based on the metric. So here, let's take this, add a new column. We can set fixed size value for the column, the same for the other one to be consistent. We can also apply some horizontal spacing between items. So now I have some breathing room. So now I have some space between columns. Okay, now let's drag the metric component and let's configure the metric. So here the first one would be deals, and the value, that's something here I want to do a query for the value on the opportunity object, and then to count the number of opportunities. So let's select the opportunity ID, aggregate function count. And here, yes, I will need to add a filter, because I need to filter the matrix information. But before doing that, I will need to create a resources, and I will show you why next. So before putting the filter, because basically what I like to do for the filters, I like to filter the information where the account ID first is equal to map value coming from the $sign component and then record ID. Because we set the target page object initially, now the dynamic component is aware of the context where it operates and it can know, the record ID. Now I also need to add another condition based, on the close date, which is equal to value. And here I will select date literal, and the value will be next. Next days. And here, this is basically, I want to map the number of days to the value coming from the combo box. But I can't do that right now, and I will show you why. Because right now, if I'm going back on the combo box, that's what we did. We set the value to 7, but this is a text value. This is not a number. So we need to create a formula resource to convert the text value to a number. Let me show you how. And then we will be able to use this on our filter. So I'm going on the resource tab, new resource, formula, let's say converted text, data type, it's number, that's a number. I want to have a number. And now I will enter the formula, which is value, or we can select the function, so value, and text. We are removing this and select, from the combo box value text. So this will convert the value from the combo box using the formula as a number. Okay. And now if I'm going back on the metric, I can add my other filter. So I can say, yes, I want also to filter the information where the close date is equal to value date literal next X days, and here number of days, I will select mapped and select the converted text formula I just created as a resource. That's it. That's all I need to do. So now this metric will be reactive based on the selection made on the combo box, which is very interesting. So now we can take the metric again and let's apply some, styling around the metric. So I will create a custom style selector. Let's say metric 1. And here I can play with, the padding. Let's add some padding around the metric element. Right there. Border, let's take a border color like this one, size 1. Okay, and we can even use a background color. Okay, so let's switch to preview mode. This is the look and feel for the metric. We can even fine-tune the metric a little bit. Avatar, it's deals, so I can take and select the opportunity icon. Okay, and play with the position if you want to make it top, bottom, left, right. That's possible. So now what you can do next, if you like to put another metric, you can simply copy this metric, paste it, and then just move it on the other column. And all you need to do, because it will already inherit the same, styling settings and properties settings, you just need to edit the metric, and instead of, querying the opportunity object, maybe you want to just querying the task object and count the number of tasks. So that would be the task. You can select subject, count, filter by the where the task. It's account ID is equal to map value coming from the $sign component, and record ID for the current record ID. Add condition, and now let's select. Let's take due date. Same logic here. Date literal. Number of days, and here select the map value coming from the formula. And we can just maybe replace the icon to make it more accurate. And changing the label, let's say task. So now let's switch to preview. This is what you have. You can switch to the next 30. Yes, I'm not displaying any records because I'm not live on a record page, but you can see already in preview, the metric is trying to calculate the metrics based on the current record ID. So if you'd want to put that into a live page, it will automatically calculate and making sure the metrics are reactive based on the selection made on the combo box. Don't forget to activate the component to make sure you can use this inside App Builder. So as a quick recap, what we did here, we created this component to display what's coming up next based on a specific record. So don't forget to set the target page object to really specifying on which object this component will be live. And then we put the card, we put the combo box. That's really important on the combo box when you creating your option next 7 days to replace this with just a number. That's value, it's a text. It's not a real number. So then if you're replacing this with a number as a text, you will need to create a new formula resources to convert the text as a number by using the value formula. And from that, when you're using and configuring the metric, that's very easy to filter the information using the map value from the converted text formula to fine-tune the metrics you'd like to display here and making sure it's reactive based on the combo box selection. Let me know if you have any question regarding this. And again, if you'd like to make this working on your Salesforce, don't forget to install the Avonni Dynamic Component application. And we are live on the App Exchange. So if you're typing Avonni, you will see this Lightning page for the dynamic component. So that's the package you need to install and to make sure it's working on your Salesforce to recreate this example. If you have any question, feel free to drop your question in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this.